Hello everyone, welcome back to the Chronicles of Fanfic, episode 9. I double checked to see which one it was this time. Numbers. Hey, how y'all doing? I'm not dead of the Rona yet. At least we hope not. So I'm good, I hope everyone else is good. So I thought today we'd do things a little differently. I am going to do basically a lightning round of stuff that I find on the internet, which is where all this stuff is, as you all know. So I'm not planning this ahead too much, so we'll see what we see. This is just to keep it fresh, keep it light. But as usual, if you got them, oh God, not again! So unprepared. No one's If you've got them, crack them. God, this better be the best beer ever. That, ladies and gentlemen, was an effort. This episode is brought to you by Furphy. Okay, so kicking your things off. This is a Beatles fanfic, which is unusual. It's called The Long and Winding Road by Anonymous 6285. Summary. Paul has to pee in the car with John, but John doesn't seem to want to stop. Notes. Just a warning, John is a little shit in this, and I swear the next will make up for it. I'm so sorry. Paul closed his eyes, rubbing his temples. Not only was the road they were on giving him a headache, but it was making him feel pretty nauseous. He had told John he wasn't feeling good, but John had only told him they'd be home by 6. It was 11, and he really wasn't feeling like sitting down for 7 more hours. And to top it all off, he had to piss too. The road they were on would turn every once in a while, and he noticed that John wouldn't slow down on any of them, and they all jostled his bladder a little bit. But he didn't tell John. He knew John would only mock him, so he kept his mouth shut. But before too long, his eyes snapped open because he felt a leak escape him. He started to wriggle in his seat. Hey, Johnny. Prepare for crap English accents. John didn't seem to hear him, the radio up all the way. Paul reaches out and turned it down. John looked over angrily. What was that for? Paul could tell he was in a bad mood, and that really worried him. I've got to take a leak. Lovely. John reached out and turned the volume back up, and Paul could feel tears stinging in his eyes. But he didn't want to keep talking about it. John would stop for him eventually. He had to. So he focused his attention on the radio and not the curving road or the fullness in his bladder. He sang along quietly with it, glad that it gave him something to do. But eventually the squirming around his seat didn't work anymore. He had to reach down and grab himself, and that's when John noticed him. He turned off the radio and laughed. Oh my God, Paul, shut up. I told you I had to go, like an hour ago, and you still haven't stopped. John looked down at the road. Never said I would. Paul groaned, but John still didn't look over at him. Could you please stop somewhere? I can't wait very long. I don't really want to. Maybe later. Paul felt a tear roll down his cheek. Was John really being so rude to him that he wouldn't even stop? Why was he in such a bad mood? John turned the music back up, and Paul turned his face away from him to cry. He allowed himself to cry loudly because of the radio, and he squirmed a bit more and squeezed himself a bit harder. More leaks came out of him, but he couldn't let himself piss in the car, so he willed the urge away. Another few minutes went by before he started to shake, and he could feel more and more leaks coming out. Is this it? Like, the phrase taking a leak is like an Australian thing as well, but like he can feel the leaks. It's like he's not a fucking plastic bag filled with vodka. John looked over at him and saw this and turned the radio off once again, revealing the sobbing of his friend. Paul immediately quieted, pulling his hands away from his crotch. The loss in pressure caused more leaks, so he could feel his wet underwear get even wetter. Like the Titanic, covering his face so he couldn't see the spot on his pants. Oh God, Macca, I'm so sorry. I'll stop somewhere. Just wait a few more minutes, yeah? John, I don't think I can wait. I'm so sorry. I never meant for this to happen. I tried to fucking tell you, but you wouldn't listen. John sped up the car and started to look for a place to stop. I don't see anywhere to stop. Paul could feel the damn brake and a hard, fast stream of piss shoot out of him. This time, it wouldn't stop. Just fucking pull over. Oh my God, it's coming out. John, holy shit. John was quick to pull the car off to the side, throwing Paul forward in his seat. The motion forced the rest of his pent-up urine into the seat, and he refused to get up out of the seat. The seat! Paul, get out of the damn car and go piss. Are you really fucking pissing yourself in here? God, how am I supposed to clean this? Christ, Paul. Paul covered his face in shame before getting out, piss dripping down his legs. He didn't say anything, but started to walk the opposite way down the road. John groaned. Oh, God. He turned around the road after leaning over to close the door and snuck up on Paul, rolling the window down. Paul, Paul, I'm sorry. Please get back in the car. When he got nothing in response, he kept talking. Macca, what if somebody recognises you? Leave me the fuck alone. I don't care if somebody else sees me. All I was worried about was that my friend would think less of me for it. I at least expected you to find a place to stop, but you didn't even fucking care. It's your fault. Go the fuck away. John only watched as he left the roadway and disappeared into a neighbourhood. He covered his face, trying to find a way off the road. Paul got to a house and knocked on the door. It swung open, and a lady opened it. Her eyes widened. Are you... He nodded miserably. Could I use your phone? I really need to call somebody. Yeah, of course. Come on in. Then she saw his pants. Oh, do you want something to wear? Blah, blah, blah. He's going in to use the phone. Yeah, he's calling George Harrison. Oh, okay. John Lennon has chased him up. Jesus. Okay, no, I'll finish it. I'll let you guys know how it finishes. The two of them left, and Paul sat in the back seat. That was really dangerous what you did, Paul. Everybody knows us. You can't go off to random houses and knocking on doors. And she's probably going to start saying things to people. Everyone will know. I don't care if everyone knows. They're not my friends. You are. And you knew. And you fucking ridiculed me and made me feel like it was my damn fault. You just don't just do that to people, John. It's a horrible way to make people feel. It was quiet on the way back, and Paul left the car, not so much as giving a shit about the front seat when they arrived. George already had clothes and a towel ready for him, and Paul could feel tears coming on when he saw it. At least he knew George would never care about it. If only John could feel the same. So that was like a piss kink story, I guess. But I don't know, it got kind of dark there. You just got really emotional. Anyway, that was unexpected. Let's see, it's loading. What else we got? What's here? Okay, I don't know what this is, so we might, I don't know. Loud slapping sounds are heard as SCP-035 proceeds to raw Dr. Throat in every position in the Kama Sutra. Okay, I don't even know what fandom or whatever this is from, but let's have ourselves a look. Okay, what fic is this? Oh god. What fandom is this? SCP Foundation. I don't know what this is. Anyway, hot sexy SCP interview by Paste My Tomatoes Dad. Summary. Everyone gangster until the redacted start data expunged. I think maybe this is like a sci-fi series. Anyway, let's go. Interviewed. Subject, SCP-035. Object class, Cooter. Interviewer, Dr. D.V. Throat. Forward. Before the interview, SCP-035 was given D9865-200 as a host and told that any hostilities on its part would result in immediate termination of the host. A small table, 5 cardboard cutouts of Dr. Bright in a Playboy bunny outfit, and 2 chairs were brought into the room for the interview. Begin log. Dr. Throat approaches SCP-035. Well, hello there, Doctor. How are you today? Dr. Throat. I'm fine, 35, thank you. Is something wrong, 35? Nothing, Doctor, nothing. This is all written in a transcript, that's why there's not much. Yeah. Dr. Throat. Very well. As you know, I'm here today in order to ask you a few questions. I'd like to start by... 035 appears to have noticed Dr. Throat's bulge. Oh, what? What's this? Dr. Throat. I'm not quite sure what you're trying to say, 35. 35. Bruh. An audible bruh moment is heard. 35. If you aren't going to cooperate, I will have your host terminated, and don't worry, Doctor, I'll do more than cooperate. Shuffling noises as 035 begins to army crawl towards Dr. Throat. 35, stop this at once. The shuffling noises cease as 035 reaches Dr. Throat's sizable nuts. Dr. Throat. 35 is interrupted by SCP-035 pulling down his pants and nuzzling his budgie wodgie. What were you saying, Doctor? 35, stop this right... Ooh, yes, Doctor? 035 begins to tickle Dr. Throat's wrinkled foreskin, and a crunchy sound is heard. Dr. Throat, quivering. Oh god, 35. Do you need something, Doctor? A loud ripping noise is heard as the massive donger explodes from his host's orange jumpsuit. If you wish to take this farther, Doctor, this vessel is ready. On jar? Dr. Throat licks his lips and bends over the table, exposing his pucker for 035. Dr. Throat, I'm prepared, 35. Commence the sex. 035, slick sliding sounds as it uses the liquid it secretes to lube up its host's schlong. Can't forget the lube. Dr. Throat, I am grateful, my dear, as is my asshole. Loud slapping sounds are heard as SCP-35 proceeds to raw dog Dr. Throat in every position in the Kama Sutra. Oh, yes, 35 senpai. This is so sugoi. Oh, yeah, baby. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, baby. Take this dingle dangus. Oh, 35. I'm about to shoot my cummies. Yeah, you foundation whore. Take this thick black goo. Cum noises can be heard as 035 appears to shoot an unnaturally large amount of his trademark secretion into Dr. Throat. Ooga booga, baby, my booty hole is satisfied. 035, Doctor, you were dummy thick. End log. That was a masterpiece. Thank you, Paste My Tomatoes, Dad. You have brought great joy to the heart of this old Italian stereotype. Molto bene. That's what I meant to say, not buenas noches. It's not even the same language. Okay. What shall we finish off with? Okay. Blah blah blah. Gonna turn the page. I'm sure there's absolutely grotesque stuff in here, but you know, we're looking for something. I can't believe this shit. Okay. All right. Just checking to see how long this one is. Okay, it's quite long, but we'll do our best. All right. This is a Danny DeVito, Guy Fieri /fic. This is fuck. This is I'm sorry. This is Diddling in Flavortown by Pinkstationfrerard. Summary. He was open, vulnerable, at the mercy of the hands and mouth of Danny DeVito. Okay. It's a dark night in late January of 1983. A young Guy Fieri is in his room, crying yet again because of the lack of seasoning in his family's dinner. All he wants is flavor. Since he was a boy, he craved it, thirsted for it. After his first experience with it, he could not get the taste off his mind. Nothing but that sweet elixir would again give him that pleasure. The erotic culinary sensation he felt in every nerve of his body, but for the time being he had nothing but boiled chicken and salt to satiate his hunger. Guy walks downstairs, looking at the ground, hiding his face. His tears. Flavor is not the way of his family, which is ironic given the way he first experienced it. But nevertheless, he remains hidden, grabs his father's car keys from the kitchen counter, and sneaks out the back door. Guy decides he is done. His desire for flavor can no longer be silenced. He runs to the edge of the driveway where his father's red 1976 Chevy Camaro SS convertible is parked. Guy gets in and starts the car. He feels the engine running beneath him, the car shaking, his seat vibrating. The very bottom of his scrotum throbs slightly with every subtle thrust of the car beneath him. He takes a moment to calm down his slowly growing erection, breathing slower and relaxing the now rigid muscles in his pelvis. He begins his drive. After about 5 minutes, he arrives at the nearest store and proceeds to enter the aisle labeled spices and oriental food. Okay, blah, blah, blah. He's in the shop. He's shopping. Eventually, a man walks into the aisle. Although he is quite short and plump, he has a sexual allure to him, an appeal which Guy had previously only identified in foods. Guy is entranced by this man and is drawn towards him, almost as if his erection is pulling him towards the slick, black-haired sex god. Guy stumbles over and notices the man pick up a jar of Lorry salt. Guy knows this is his chance. He runs to the shelf where he accidentally bumps into the man. "Sir, what's that you've grabbed from the shelf?" The man looks up at him. Guy notices his eyes, so powerful, a deep shade of brown nearly matching that of the dark-coloured seasoning in between his thick fingers and sweat-glistened palms. "It's Lorry salt, kid. Haven't you had it before?" Guy becomes nervous. "Has everyone had this Lorry salt?" he asks himself. No, I haven't. The guy smiles almost sensually, causing Guy to blush. Well, here, he says as he passes Guy his own jar. I'll buy you a can and you can try it. His hands brush against Guy's. A wave of erotic passion washes over Guy's body, and he feels it exit the swelled, pulsating tip of his erection. Oh dear. The man pretends not to notice and offers him a ride home. I can't go home, Guy says, knowing if he is caught with seasoning, worse will happen than a life without it. Okay, the man replies. You can come to my place and try the salt, and I can take you home in the morning. Guy knows he shouldn't go anywhere with strangers, but it's the man's strange allure which drives him in more. His undergarments were getting awfully sticky, and he could feel it soaking the tip of his penis in an uncomfortable grasp of unseasoned brogurt. He agrees to go with the man. The two check out and proceed to enter the man's car. What's your name? The man asked, one hand on the steering wheel, the other slowly inching towards Guy's seat. He feels his anal muscles contract. His body seems to be preparing himself for something, but he wasn't sure what. Before he could give it any more thought, he felt the man's thick, meaty fingers caress his inner thigh. Is this okay? The man asked. Yes, Guy replied, struggling to fight off another erection. My name is Guy. I'm Danny. Danny DeVito. Oh, God. Okay, they park in the driveway, and it's, it starts. I'm conscious of time, so I'll skip ahead a little bit. Danny proceeded to unzip Guy's pants and remove them. Guy's unshaven wang was bare. He was open, vulnerable, at the mercy of the hands and mouth of Danny DeVito. Danny grasped the boy's penis between his lips and began bobbing up and down. Guy couldn't help but to thrust into Danny's oral cavity, letting out a yelp of pleasure between each push. Danny felt the start of the ejaculation against the back of his throat and removed the penis from his mouth with expert speed, placing onto the top of his bald, gleaming head, which then became covered in Guy's second load of ejaculate for the night. Oh, I guess he came earlier. Danny looked up at Guy, who was still panting with his hands behind his head, and said to him the three words that every virgin wants to hear. Slurp it up. Guy bent over and puckered his lips over Danny's scalp and began sucking. Just as he suspected, it tasted like nothing. The creamy liquid was completely bland, and the taste just made him yearn for Danny's flavorful schlong juices so much more. Do you want to take a ride? Danny says to him. Where are we going? Guy asks eagerly. Danny moves to the back seat, rolls over onto his back, and removes his pants to reveal his pulsating erection. He looks Guy directly in the eyes and said, Flavortown. Okay, they're doing it. Danny removes his penis from the boy's rectum and proceeds to turn him round. He looks at Guy into his eyes and sees him tearing up. This prompts him to place his penis into Guy's mouth, where his erection continues to grow bigger and bigger, until he yells, You're taking the gob full throttle, and releases a load of semen fluid into Guy's throat. Guy comes up from the gob job. His eyes full of water, his heart full of grief, for he realizes his greatest fear was true. Danny's load had not taken him to Flavortown. In fact, he visited well-salted Province at best. Guy opened the back passenger door and ran out. He screamed in anger. The only way his hunger would ever be satiated, the only way he would ever satisfy his taste buds, is to revert to his original method. Back to his first experience with flavor. He had to go home to his family. Go home to his dad. Go home to his one and only flavor god. Okay, good. Sorry, just checking the time. We were nearly at 20 minutes. Guy wiped the tears from his eyes, removed his clothes, and walked until he reached his doorstep. Anal blood dripping onto the porch, he rang the bell and waited for his dad to answer. The door creaks open and his dad sees him. He begins to tear up. His dad steps out to join him on the porch. Guy proceeds to hand him the jar of Laurie's salt and says, voice quivering, The only bus I want to ride to Flavortown is yours. Your source is money, seasoned or unseasoned. I'm yours. His dad took him inside, where they entered his room and made passionate butt love late into the night. I did not see that coming. Probably neither did Guy Fieri. 23 years later, Guy's passion for flavor had been nurtured all these years by the semen of his father, but he was ready yet again to set out on his own flavor pursuit. On November 4th, 2006, the first episode of his flavor hunt aired on television, and ever since, the show has followed him around on his never-ending hunt. for flavor. Well, whew, that was and you know, I left out a whole lot of stuff there, like a lot of graphic sexual acts. Well, hopefully in the midst of this pandemic, we can all eventually get to Flavortown. Well, I have been your host again. Oh, getting really up into the camera there. I've been your host for the 9th consecutive time, Luke Peveril. This has been the Chronicles of Fanfic, episode 9. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you all found that tolerable. Yeah, I figure from now on we go back and forth like this. You know, a bit of my mole, a bit of just the grab bag. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see where the night takes us. Hope everyone's keeping safe out there. Don't forget to wash your hands, gloves, masks. Just kidding. The World Health Organization said not to wear the masks. I don't know. I'll have to edit that part out. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. This will be on YouTube. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. I usually say like, comment, and obey, but I've sold out, so I said it the usual way. Tonight, I'm rambling. Good night, everyone. See you on the next episode.